Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. I am streaming live. Today is Thursday. It is September 8th, 2022. Yes, today is the day that the Queen has died. I'm going to be doing some breaking news on that following this broadcast. I'm a little somber today. You can probably tell by the title of my video, Methods of Human Extermination. That's what came to mind to me today as I was basically, I'm looking outdoors now and I can barely see any sky because of the smoke that is covering it from the fires that are raging in California. I'm going to be covering that with a little bit of a different angle. And before I do that, let me dive right into a brief message from the sponsor of today's video. We are going on over to preparewithpeggy.com. This is such an important message for me to bring to you today in light of all the devastation that's going on. I've heard from people in Kentucky that are being flooded out. And of course, California is on fire. We're going to dig into that in just a moment. And the other thing that's going on is the entire world apparently is experiencing food shortages. Supply chain breakdowns continue to have a domino effect on everything, especially food production. Farmers can't plant as many crops now because of fertilizer shortages, forced regulations, and high fuel prices. So this will cause more painful food shortages when we run out of the food that we're eating now. Food takes time to grow. So when farmers don't plant, months later, we don't eat. That's why you need to prepare for an increasing number of food shortages. The best way, in my opinion, is to invest in this ready emergency food from My Patriot Supply. Friends, I have this. I love it. It comes in these plastic buckets. You get $50 off the 4-week emergency food supply. We have one of these for each member of our family. You grab and go. I've told you before and I'll tell you again, I typically don't eat pancakes and macaroni and cheese and beef stroganoff, but if this is the difference between me staying alive for another month until I can get to food or perishing, I will take this. It has a 25-year shelf life, which means you will be able to get it when you need it. There's breakfast, lunch, dinners, drinks, and snacks. You get free shipping and handling. So again, save $50 on a 4-week food kit. Go to preparewithpeggy.com. And those who know what's coming next are prepared. I am prepared, and I hope that you are too. So hop on over to preparewithpeggy.com. Friends, the title of today's video, Methods of Human Extermination. That's the only thing I could think of when I was driving near, actually I was probably about 10 miles away from where the fires are going on here in Southern California, and there are fires going on in Northern California as well. And as I was getting gas in my car and doing a couple of errands, I was hearing people speak about this. It's absolutely terrifying. It's horrendous. It is, in my view, a type of terrorism on the people. And the word that came to mind was extermination. Now, I am usually full of optimism and good cheer and a positive outlook. Friends, today I need your encouragement. I really need your encouragement because I am in the belly of the beast here in Southern California. So many of you have written to me about places that you've moved, how you never looked back. Many of you left California. Many of you left New York, Connecticut. Some of you actually left places that you moved to thinking they would be better. And then you found that they were you were experiencing an onslaught of new people moving there. I've heard of people moving to Phoenix and then moving out of Phoenix. I've heard of people moving to Idaho and then moving out of Idaho. I'm not sure if that's happening in Tennessee, but there are a few places where people are still moving, like Oklahoma, Kentucky, Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa, and those still seem to be relatively sane and rational. Now, friends that have moved to Kentucky are also being flooded out. I think it's the second or third time that these unprecedented floods are happening. And you know and I know that these are not natural. These are not naturally occurring events. That there definitely has been man-made weather, if you will, that has caused a lot of this. Now, this is what's really interesting. Someone that I know was driving through the area that's on fire right now 2 days before the fire, actually one day before the fire. And there was the most I can't even find the words, the most ridiculous, outrageous, strange rainstorm where it was raining sand and rain and there were no clouds in the sky. And she actually took a video and I've seen it. So the video was showing this crazy sandstorm, rainstorm, and there was no wind and there were no clouds. I find it very, very curious that a day or two later, the fire exploded. That's what the news is saying in Hemet. And not only did it explode, but now it has doubled in size overnight. Why? I will never stop asking this question. We are in the year 2022. In the state of California, which is the state that has the most wildfires, we know that they're not wild, forest fires, brush fires, whatever you want to call them. In a state like California in the year 2022, with drones and technology and apps and satellites, if you believe in them, and you're telling me that California can't get its act together to put out a fire? You saw the same thing in my fire coverage several months ago of the coastal fire in my county of Orange, which actually was not very far from my stomping grounds. And why was it that they were so lackadaisical and nobody was on the scene and they were really moving slowly? I showed you breaking news. Then yesterday, I showed you some coverage of these images that look so weird. They were not even showing firefighters. It would look like they were orchestrated, staged scenes from a movie set. Completely bizarre. And then I wake up to headlines today saying, well, let me show you the headlines. And then we're actually going to make a laundry list of methods of human extermination. So one of the ways is to start fires. So let me show you this. I'm going to just do a quick search here. And I did this on Google on purpose. And that's because I want other people to see what most people see. And here we go. Hemet fire. Evacuation orders expand as deadly Fairview fire explodes to 19. Okay, fires, excuse me, they burn, they break out, they ignite. Why would you be using the word explode as if it's a bomb? Here we are again. 1 hour ago, CNN, Southern California's Fairview fire has exploded in size. Here, 3 days ago, Southern California Fairview fire explodes, kills 2, actually 3 people died, as it turns out. Very, very sad. And watch my video from yesterday where the firefighters were saying that the behavior was unusual. It's not typical fire behavior. They were caught off guard. The fire was burning in a direction that it normally wouldn't have. Here we go. Fire whirl erupts amid 4,500 acre wildfire burning in Hemet. So let's take a look at where this is. And maybe we'll get a map here. This is in South Riverside County. So it's kind of Riverside, north of Temecula. If you know that area, Temecula is, about maybe an hour north of San Diego. So here you're seeing these images are a little different. This looks strange to me too. Like they're leaving the fire, they're walking away from the fire. Somebody else mentioned to me that you're not able to see their badges and things, so you don't really know what fire station they are with. I did do some research to see that Orange County sent an engine, I think, or maybe 5 engines to help, but it seems very strange. Here again, you've got cars that are on fire, melting. I've explained before in the physics of fire that it does not get hot enough to melt steel or aluminum or metal. So there is something that is very, very strange. Many of you know that microwave energy will melt steel and you'll have this kind of effect. So before we do this, I want to show you this other fire that was going on. This is a short video. This is of 2 days ago, and there was the mill fire in the city of Weed, California. I know, kind of funny name. And the other thing that's very interesting is you have all of these trees that are still standing, and you have the buildings that are completely decimated. So for those of you that are new to the physics of fire, there are combustible materials and there are non-combustible materials. Combustible materials are considered fuel. So you will have trees, even if they're green, they are more flammable than a ceramic toilet, for example. Where are the appliances? Where's the bathtub? Where's the fireplace? How is it that I can have a fire in my fireplace with an actual roaring fire and the glass doesn't break in front of the fire, and then the house doesn't catch on fire and the fireplace and the brick doesn't break? But there's no bricks here. Where did they go? They disintegrated because it's not a normal fire. I'm going to be bringing you more and more commentary about this because I want more and more people to wake up to this. And I'm going to just play this. You won't hear the sound, but I do have the subtitles. I mainly want you to see the images. There you have a car. Tires completely melted. If it's such a dangerous fire, how is it that this structure didn't catch on fire? Oh, interesting. Almost as if it was targeted, almost like target practice. Look at this. Okay, let's do this. This doesn't make sense. When you actually have a house fire, a structure, it normally doesn't burn to the ground. Actually, you still can see the frame, because after the wood stops burning, there's not enough oxygen, and it just like embers of a fire that you do in your fireplace. You still will have that. This is not that type of fire. You can clearly see that. Stunning. Okay, this is a little bit more of what an actual fire would look like, although that's not even burned. It's just like falling to the side because the entire structure has been decimated. Let's take a look here. There was a fire a month ago in Eureka called the McKinney Fire, and that was, let's take a look here. Another one of those outrageous, just defying the physics and the science of fire. Just does not make sense. This is not how structures normally burn. They don't burn to the ground. You're going to have bricks, you're going to have tile roofs, you're going to have toilets, you're going to have your appliances, you're going to have your porcelain tub. And some of you are going to say, well, maybe it's made out of plastic or something. It's not going to be completely decimated like that. Something strange is going on. This does not happen in a forest fire, in a brush fire. It's absolutely stunning. You can see this. I'm actually sickened by it. I really need your support today, friends. Okay, so Hemet, I showed you that exploding fire. Why would it double in size? Why wouldn't it be put out? Why, in this day and age, with all of the technology, how is it that firefighting has fallen behind? Why is it that over the last several years, fires have grown exponentially and they've been so much more deadly? Shouldn't it be the reverse? Shouldn't we be smarter? Shouldn't we have more crews? Shouldn't there be more money going to firefighting? Shouldn't they have more techniques? Shouldn't there be more planes in the sky, bigger trucks, more water? It defies logic. So I conclude from the evidence presented, I'm going to make a logical conclusion that this is an intentional extermination, all right? They do it in different ways. I made a list on my phone today of methods of human extermination, and I want to see your comments. I'm going to start reading them. And I would say the number one, and it may not be the first that comes to mind for you, the number one method of human extermination is fear. Yes, and fear mongering. We have flu mongering going on, don't we? Everybody now being afraid of being sick. Fear suppresses the immune system. Fear creates anxiety and depression and difficulty thinking clearly. Fear it creates a response in your body of either flight, like you want to leave, all these people leaving California, or fright, you're sort of frozen, flight, or fight, or you want to fight it. And that's where I am right now, fighting this tyranny, fighting this fear mongering. And when people live in fear, they can't think clearly. They can't be prepared. They can't take rational action. So I think that fear is a type of terrorism. And when people are glued to the news, to the mainstream news, all those images that I showed you, that does elicit a fear response, and that suppresses your immune system. It can put you into a tizzy, into the spin cycle, as I call it. It can cause emotions that are running away, and it's one of the greatest killers. It can literally cause heart attacks and strokes, people being in fear. Added to that, a method of extermination is terrorism. What is terror? Terror is the threat of violence. It is the threat of loss of life, of home, of property. It may not happen, but you feel worried about it. So just living in California, let me know if you're like me and you're still in California. Do you live under that threat of fire? Do you feel like, oh my gosh, it could break out or explode at any time? Are you aware of some of the deeper issues that are going on here, as I am? And if you're not, please go back and watch Natural or Not. That was the video I did all about fires and the physics of fire. I've been studying this. And science, as they want to tell you, it changes, but it doesn't. So there are things that just are not adding up here. Terror and terrorism is a very powerful method of human extermination. It can cause people to do things that they may not normally do. You might have somebody who's afraid and they're driving really quickly. They have a car accident. Maybe they're going to drown their sorrows in alcohol or take drugs or whatever the case may be. So terrorism and terror is another very effective method of human extermination. Poison. Okay, we know poison is going on. We know that people are lining up willingly for poison. We know that there is poison in our food, in our water, in our air, in our soil. They're dropping it. I'm going to be doing a video on they're dropping rabies vaccines by plane. Oh yeah, rabies is a whole nother topic. Do you think it exists? Yeah, I'll just tell you what I think, what I know. Okay, fires, very, very effective method of extermination. Not so much that people are going to die in the fire. They probably wish that would happen at a greater number, but people losing their property, people losing hope, people not wanting to live anymore, and that can result in suicide, or again, drinking or taking drugs, or just not working, giving up, leaving. I believe, and let me know in a comment below, that they actually want people to leave California so they can take it over once and for all. Look at the resources that are in this state. This is a gold mine in more ways than one. The state is amazing. Californians, by and large, are incredible. It is a conservative state. Don't believe what you see in the headlines. The public serpents are corrupt, but and I definitely see fires as a method of human extermination. There is not, every member of my family and my extended family has been affected by the fires that have been in their communities. So many of you healthy Americans have told me, and again, I have some fire experts that I'm interviewing to bring you more information as all. All right, let me know methods of human extermination. I'll be taking a look at your comments. Okay, floods. That's another thing. People are being flooded out in Kentucky. Oh my gosh, what was it? 17 years ago, I went to New Orleans to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. And this was before I really was awake to all of the hogwash and the evildoers. And I had a sense that things weren't adding up. But what I saw in New Orleans was stunning. And it wasn't so much that the hurricane that came through, it was all of the flooding and the levees breaking and the mismanagement, or was it done on purpose? What say you? So flooding is very, very effective as a method of human extermination. What about earthquakes? Do you think those can be created? Do you think those can be controlled and orchestrated? I mean, earthquakes, I think, are one of the most effective means of human extermination because the high number of fatalities, especially in areas where the buildings are not suitable, to withstand the earthquake. And then, of course, when you're in areas where there is that are near the coast, you have the tsunami. So I'll put that as another method of human extermination. Do you think it's natural or not? I think that all of these can be natural, but it's stunning to me with the frequency and the intensity and the way that they are predicting it. I didn't get to show you in the news today, but it says more severe storms, firestorms are predicted. Oh, really? You can tell the future. Okay, how about tornadoes? Now, where I live, we don't have tornadoes in California, but I have seen reports of tornadoes in areas where they normally aren't there. So it's common to have tornadoes, I think, in Oklahoma and maybe Nebraska, even Illinois. But when you see them coming through in areas where they normally aren't, that makes me scratch my head and think that this might be a method of human extermination. Hurricanes, spoke about that a moment ago. You know and I know, and if you don't know, please watch this amazing channel on YouTube, and it's called Dutch Sense. Tchsinse, Dutchsinse, and he will track all of the earthquake activity and other things that are going on in the world. And there are other remarkable YouTubers that have channels that will show how they are tracking the hurricanes and steering them where they want them to be, and maybe parking them in an area, just like putting your car in park, but you keep the engine running. That's what happens with a lot of these hurricanes, it appears. All right. Other methods of human extermination, junk food. Oh yeah, packaged food, junk food, all of the stuff that they have in there. And I'm not even talking about crickets and locusts. I'm talking about all of the other fake foods that they pass off as food, and it's basically foodless monstrosities. So the other one would be, of course, all of the fast food. Isn't it interesting that during the pandemic, when it was so dangerous to be outside, that they had to close the library and the swimming pools and the gyms and the hair salons, and they kept all the fast food restaurants open? I made a video where I said, oh yeah, I'll put on the suffocation device once CVS stops selling alcohol, cigarettes, and candy. Actually, I don't think CVS sells cigarettes. But the point being, you think me suffocating myself is going to make me healthy while you're selling all the junk food? It's stunning. All right. What about television? I think that is a method of mass extinction as well, extermination, because of the onslaught and the ongoing washing of the brain and indoctrination for people to think a certain way. And of course, prescription drugs that they start kids on at a very young age, because you have a 7-year-old that doesn't want to sit in a chair in school because he's a 7-year-old and he should be running around outside. And so when he's running around in the classroom, instead of saying, wow, what an active, smart, bright, intelligent kid we have here, they put him on drugs. And if that's you, please stop drugging your child. All right, so the prescription drugs at a very young age also is a very effective method of extermination. And I'll just finish up with hospitals. So these days, from all of the stories that you've been sending me, hospitals are, going to a hospital is almost a surefire way of not coming out. So for heaven's sakes, why are you going to the hospital? Why? Friends, those days are over. Now, unless you live in Iowa or something where things are not over, if you're in California, Oregon, Washington, New Mexico, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, did I mention any of the other worst states? Yes, I use that word on purpose. Why are you going to the hospital? It's a serious question. You go in like the Roach Motel and you don't go out. So I would do everything possible not to go. There are other things that you can do, right? I mean, I told my husband, take me to the vet. I will go to my veterinarian. I trust my vet more than I do any of these hospitals. Have a preparation plan. Stay healthy, stay alert, stay awake, stay connected. Have your preps, as we call them. So have your food, have your water. In the video I did yesterday, I showed that the authorities were ordering people not to drink their water, that they had to boil their water before using it. Friends, don't you think this is like a drill, like this is getting people ready for another panic? I've been on record to say that they are rolling back all of the cootie stuff, and they are getting ready for this full-on assault of, climate warfare. That's basically it. I don't think I coined that, but it's a very good phrase. So let's see what you have to say, friends. Yes. Freedom says, thank you for all of your videos. It helped me keep my blood clean. And when TV first came out, my grandma said it was a mind stealer. Absolutely. One of the things I like to do is home decor, right? Interior design and so forth, just for fun. And I haven't really had a lot of time to do that over the last couple of years. But if I ever have 20 minutes where I want to wind down after all of the hogwash of the day, I like to watch these home staging videos and that kind of thing. It's stunning to me how people's lives revolve around the TV, that all of these scenes and all of the interior design and the redesign, it's all designed over the home theaters, the giant TV, these giant sofas that look like they're made for somebody, of a large size. It's like, what? With a cup holder there for your giant soda. What in the world? I don't even have a TV. I have a bookshelf, I have a fireplace, and above the fireplace, I have a mirror. I don't even have a television. So what in the world is wrong with people where their entire lives revolve around the TV? And then you'll say, well, Peggy, how else am I supposed to know what's going on? Well, You can't not know what's going on because people will tell you what's going on, and you can find out about it on social media, and you'll say, well, that's exactly like TV. No, it's not, because I can turn this off. I don't get gripped into the shows, and it is encroaching, and it is becoming a type of TV. I absolutely understand what you mean. But why in the world do people revolve their lives around the TV? It's absolutely stunning. Valerie says that all people, young people, old people, are on the psychotropic drugs. Tropic drugs. You're absolutely right. Katrina says most food should not even be called food. It should be called faux food. You're absolutely right on target there. So friends, please pray for me. Please pray for me, for all those that are affected by these fires. I took a couple of pictures on my phone today. It's like, wow, smoke combined with the spraying in the air really makes for deadly air. My heart grieves for all of those that are losing their property, that are living in fear, that are being exterminated. And I feel that I am in the belly of the beast. I have read and reread so many of your lovely messages about where you moved to and whether you liked it or not. And I would say it's about 95% of the people who have moved out of a communistic state and have moved to America love it. About 5% of the people, let me say 90% love it. 5% of the people say, I moved and I regret it. I wish I didn't have to move. I moved for family. I moved for finances. I moved for freedom, but I miss my old state. And it may not be California. People are leaving Oregon. They're leaving Washington. They're leaving Florida. They're leaving New Mexico. Some people are leaving Texas and they're going to Kentucky. So it may not necessarily be just California. And then 5% of the people are like me, saying, you know what? I'm staying. I'm fighting. Maybe I'll move to a safer city, a different area in the state, but I'm not leaving. I'm staying to fight. So I rely on God. I rely on God to direct my steps, to direct my work. And I'm so grateful that He has brought you into my life. Today was a heavy day. It was a very heavy day. So thank you for your prayers. They really work. And for those of you that aren't sure about prayer or why you pray, if God already knows, God gave us a desire to pray. He built that within us. When we pray, we can bring peace to ourselves by focusing our mind on our desired outcome. We can pray for others and connect with them by sending them those healing thoughts and prayers. I think it's a very active endeavor. I love to pray. I love to pray in gratitude. I love to pray on my knees. I will call out and say, Lord, show me the way. And I will tell you that in my life, I have had a 100% success of God's reply. It may not be what I wanted to hear. It may not be in my own time, but He always replies. He always shows me another way. I've had so many success stories from you lovely, healthy Americans who left your jobs from the hogwashers and the evildoers, and God blessed you with a better job with more pay. I've got tons and tons and tons of success stories. If you are struggling, remember, you can get my personal help. You have to go to thehealthyamerican.org, click on religious exemptions, and you can get a private phone call with me, my own consultation. Pastor David will pray with you. We'll look over your case. Of course, it's not legal advice. This is education and knowledge for you to make your decisions. And then if you don't have a penny to spend, go and study all of my religious exemption educational videos that are free. I will say that our track record with people that we've helped is much higher than with those who are just doing it on their own, because it's so much better to have an advocate in your corner, somebody that you can bounce ideas off of. And we are with you through your successful conclusion. So I am here to help you, friends. And what I want to do is bring you another video just to follow up, because the Queen has died, and I want to talk about this American obsession with royalty and have your comments as well. So I guess we need to talk about, we have methods of human extermination, and then we need to have the methods to avoid the human extermination. And I'll be bringing you a video on that coming soon. So email me your comments, support@thehealthyamerican.org. Let me know how you overcome these methods of extermination. How do you keep your head above the waves? Even I fall beneath the waves and get sloshed around by the stormy seas, friends. Today was a very, very heavy day. I almost was trying to come to you live today when I was seeing everything, but for some reason, Facebook's not letting me go live. YouTube's not letting me go live from my phone. I need to fix that. I Fabi says, when we pray, we are talking with God. When we read his word, he is talking with us. I love that interpretation. That's so nice. Mark, great to have you on board. You've been through it all as well. You've seen it around the world. And I appreciate your comments and views as well. So I am praying for you. Thank you for praying for me. I'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes. Let me queue up the info that I have for you about royalty. I would love to hear your thoughts. And then let me know if you like this coverage on fire. It's a heavy topic to cover because it's so explosive. I've been studying it. I've been studying the science and the physics, and it's irrefutable. It's as if they suddenly want to say that water does not freeze at 32 degrees. I mean, 32 degrees is freezing. You can't change that. It's the same thing with fire. There's a fire behavior that doesn't change because it is guided and it's restricted by God's laws, by the natural laws that we live by. So it's irrefutable. And all of these images of melted cars and the decimated houses are intended for people, let's say like a 10-year-old is seeing it. Well, when they're 30 years old, they're going to think that's what a fire looks like. So here's a homework assignment, friends. Study house fires and see if you can find any good footage of firefighting training videos. That's what I've done a lot of, is looking at the firefighter training videos, but you have to go back like to the 1990s, and it will show a house and how they put out a house fire. And when the fire is put out, normally the structure is still standing. You still have the pipes and you still have the wooden frame and you still have the toilet and you still have the sink and you still have the appliances and you still have the brick fireplace. It never was where everything was just completely obliterated. So there are combustible materials and there are non-combustible materials. That's why houses are made out of stucco, which is a type of sand and concrete. It doesn't burn. It can be exploded, you know, with a bomb or microwave energy, but a fire doesn't burn concrete. A fire doesn't burn bricks. A fire doesn't burn glass. That's why I can have glass in front of my fireplace. So do your digging as well. Let's all of us educate each other on the physics of fire. It's something that's easily explainable to others, and we need to open their eyes. We need to help others be educated on this, and then I'm going to be bringing in more and more experts who will tell us what it is that we can do. And I think a lot of it has to do with having conversations with our fire departments, let them know that we are on to them and that we are going to hold them accountable when they don't come and show up to put out these fires. Where was everybody in Hemet? The other thing is, Hemet is not a forest. There's hardly any trees. It's actually quite barren in a way. I mean, there's some rolling hills and things, and there are horse farms and other, you know, cows and all that kind of stuff, but it's not like it's a forest. So what even is burning? There's not even fuel there to burn. So none of this adds up for me, friends. I'm extremely disturbed today. Let's keep each other in prayer. I'll hop off, I promise, and I'll hop right back on with you. And we will dive into the strange obsession with the royal family. All right. See you soon, everybody. And I appreciate you subscribing. Double check that you are subscribed. And I'm here with you every day, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m.